So hi girls. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting a new topic, something that you haven't done before, but it's we're building on solving equations, on the concept of solving equations. So, and let me just get my marker right here. Okay, and I'm going to write in red if need. No. Let me just diminish the size, and I think we're good to go. So over here what we have is we are given an equation. All right, I know it's an equation because there is the equal symbol, there is an unknown, and we are asked, so in this particular example, we will be asked to find, I need to decrease all these. I need to make sure to remember to decrease them for you. To find, and now it's too small, lovely. Okay, so it's asking us, this particular question would ask us to find the unknown. And in this particular case, our unknown is the letter X, okay? So we collect like terms, so the 7 and the plus 3 are the same, so we take the plus, we take them on one side, we take the plus 3 on the other side, it becomes a minus. Remember the balancing of scales. 7 minus 3 is 4, and so if we have to make x subject of the formula, 2 is attached to x by a times. So and then x equals 4 all over 2, which is 2. So over here, our final answer, okay, is the value x equals 2. Okay, and we would have solved our given equation. But sometimes, girls, we can have equations with two unknowns. So I have a letter x and a letter y. So what you're going to be given in simultaneous equations is we're going to be asked to solve two equations simultaneously at the same time. So this is a good point. Simultaneous means at the same time. And by working them out at the same time, you will be finding the value of x and of y. All right. Now there are two methods of how we're going to go about it. There is the graph method, which is what we're going to be doing today. And there is the process of elimination. And there is another one by substitution. So there is the graph method, okay? There is by substitution, and there is the process of elimination. So I would say that this is method 1, all right, the graph method. And the graph method is what we've already worked on previously in the topic of graphs. So let's start, girls. So we are going to be solving, we are going to be so we have two equations and we have to find the value of letter y and x. We have to work them out at the same time. So as it suggests the graph method, we have to draw the graphs of both equations. So if we have to draw the graphs of both equations, we need to create a table for both of them. Now, since they are written in the format of y equals mx plus c, that means they are straight line equations. And since they are straight line equations, all we have to do really is find two coordinates, all right? Two coordinates of the following. So if we find two coordinates of the following, we can immediately join them. Okay, so let's start. Let's prepare a table for each line and find their coordinates. And I think I can. Let me create the first table here. All right. So let me do like this. So since they're just two coordinates, let me take my x values to be -2 and 2. All right, so I start, my first row is -2. I can even take 3 if I want. Let me take 3. 0 and 2. So if I have to draw the graph of y equals 2x plus 1, Bella, I have on my first row x values. My second row 2x. My third row plus 1. And my last one is y. And I don't know if you remember, and we used to draw the lines. Okay, we used to draw a line like this and a line like this. So the x values is what I put into my table. I'm choosing, all right, and I chose 3 x values, but 2 would have been enough. And I'm not gonna do this one. The 2x and the plus 1 is always how the equation is written. And the y is when I work out my 2x and plus 1 rows. Well, let's start. What does 2x mean? 2 times. In this particular row, it's 2 times -2, which is -4. 2 times 0 is 0, and 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1, I'm so sorry girls, -4, 0, and 4. Plus 1 just tells us plus 1 to reach 1. Then my y, I have to get these two and plus and minus them. Plus or minus them. -4 plus 1, -3, plus 1, and 5. And I've got my coordinates, and I like to write my coordinates down. So for this particular row, okay, -2, comma, -3, 0, comma, 1, 2, comma, 5, right? And that is my first table. At the same time, once I've got the coordinates, I shouldn't. You should always do the second table and then you draw it. And I'll tell you why. Because you have to draw both lines on the same graph. So it's true we drew it for you, but when you are drawing them, girls, when you are drawing them, you have to draw your y and x axis, and you need to figure out how long these axes should be. So for you to figure it out, so the x values, are going to be from -2 to 2, for example. But your y values, you have to choose the smallest value all the way to the largest y value. And for you to do that, you have to wait, you have to do both tables. But we already know the outcome, and this is to help you. So let's draw the second table. So this table, what I'm going to find is y equals 4x plus 2. So let me do my x values. I'm going to take the same one, -2, 0, and 2. Let me create some space between them. Okay. Over here, I'm going to write down the equation, y equals 4x plus 2. So, for me to get my y, okay, I need to do 4x, and I need to do plus 2, because that's what I have written down in my equation. And let me draw my lines, so that I have everything organized immediately. I always like drawing a line after the x and before the y, so that I know that I have to work whatever there is between them, whether there are 3 terms, 4 terms, 2 terms. And I'm thinking about whether it's a quadratic, whether it is a straight line, and so on. So for x means 4 times minus 2, which is minus 8. 4 times 0, which is 0. 4 times 2, which is 8. Plus 2 means plus 2, plus 2, and plus 2. Minus 8 plus 2 is minus 6. 2 and 8, 9, 10. All right, and immediately I like writing down the coordinates. Minus 2 comma minus 6, 0 comma 2, and 2, 2 comma 10. So definitely my graph, the axis, had to be from minus 2 to 2. All right, it's longer. And my y values, the smallest one in actual fact is in the second table. It's from minus 6 up to 10. All right, so I definitely have, I have the minus 6. I don't have the 10, but it's not a problem because at least I have these 2 coordinates. So in a way, thank God we did it, so that if this happens to you in an exam, you know how to go about it. So you don't have to worry about this particular column. All right, girls. So at least you have from minus 6 up to 2. All right, very good. As long as you have 2 coordinates, you are okay. Mela. Okay, I am going to be plotting in, let me change the color to blue, or a gray, because I have to do everything in pencil, so I give the same illusion. So let's start. So this is minus 2 comma minus 3. So we've got this, 0 comma 1, and 2 comma 5. And this is my first line, and immediately I can draw a straight line through them. Let me keep it still gray. Okay, so I can draw a line like this, and I can continue going. All right, I can continue going. So that is what is so nice about straight lines, that you can continue. That's why all you need are 2 coordinates. Now, of course, I don't have a long ruler, so I'm going to try my best like this. Okay, so most probably something like this. Now, let me, and at the same time, no, I can do it after. Let me draw this line, minus 2 comma minus 6. 0 comma 2 up here, and that is it, because and then the other one is 2 comma 10, which goes all the way. So if I draw a straight line, they are going to intersect each other. And they are going to intersect each other, and they are going to intersect each other at this point. And let's mark it. I'm going to do it with a red, but you still have to do it in using your pencil, guys. But for your notes, please use color. So they are intersecting at this point. Okay. At the same time, what I want to put in is, because we always have to do it when drawing graphs, we have to write down the equations. So this was the first equation, which was y equals 2x plus 1. And this was the second equation, which was y equals 4x plus 2. Okay, so the point of intersection, I'm going to write in blue because now I'm writing on my lined paper. Okay, the point of intersection is, and if you read it, it is between 0 and -1. So on my x value, it's minus 0.5, comma, in line with the 0 of the y-axis, 0. So that means, therefore, my x value is minus 0.5 and my y value is 0. And that is me finding the values of your x and y. Alright, so this is using the graph method. And usually the examiner, when he asks you to solve the simultaneous equations and you are required to use the graph method, it will tell you specifically, using your graph, okay? Using your graph. Find, wait a minute, guys. Find the values of your two equations. And so, by using your graph, you need to find the point of intersection where the two lines are intersecting each other. At this point, you've got your x value and your y value. So at this point, the two graphs are true. Another method is to find the point of intersection, okay, by making them equal to each other. And in this way, for you to use this particular method, it will tell you to calculate. Okay? You don't have to use the graph. You just have to, literally, you can use algebra. So the thing is this. Okay, so instead of using the graph, how else could you have gone about it? You know that your two equations are, let's write them underneath each other, y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals 4x, not minus 2. Over here it's a typo, girls. It's supposed to be plus 2, all right? And over here, all right, and I'll arrange it immediately for you. All right, I can do it like this. We can do the plus, and we can make it a plus immediately. Well, we can try to make it a plus immediately. There we go. All right, girls. So, what are you noticing? The fact that I wrote them underneath each other, and I wrote them underneath each other for a specific reason. The y's are the same. So if the y's are the same, automatically these two must be the same because they are referring to the same letter, to the y equals. So we can automatically say that 2x plus 1 is equal to 4x plus 2. So let's find the value of x. Let's collect like terms. So 2x and 4x are the same. So, and I can use a marker for you so that we can mark them out. So 2x and 4x are the same term. And I'll use a different one. Plus 1 and plus 2 are the same. So let's continue. So I'm just going to go through it, all right, guys? This should be already, you should already know how to go about it. It doesn't matter where you collect them, whether they should be on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. So don't worry about it. Let me keep the plus 1 here. Plus 1. Let me take the plus 2 onto the other side and it becomes a minus 2. Let me keep the 4x here and we have the 2x on the other side. Plus 1 minus 2 is minus 1 equals 4x minus 2 is 2x. I need to make x subject of the formula. What is attached to x? The 2. How? A multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is division. And I'm going to use the slash to signify division. Division by 2 equals x. And minus 1 division by 2 is minus 0.5. which is equal to x, which is what we got up here. Now I found the value of x, but I still need to find the value of y. So for me to find the value of y, I choose whichever equation I want. Do I want to use the first one or the second one? It doesn't make a difference because they should both, at this particular point, they should both give you the same answer. So let's say I'm going to use the second one. Y equals 4x plus 2. Y equals, so I am going to substitute x instead of minus 0.5. I always tell you substitute using brackets. So 4 brackets minus 0.5 plus 2. Y equals 4 multiplied by minus 0.5, and you can use a calculator for the time being. It's minus 2, and you still have the plus 2 here. And minus 2 plus 2 is y equals 0. So we got the same answer. So if it asks you to calculate, you use this kind of method. If it asks you to, using your graph, find, you have to construct the tables, you have to get the coordinates, and you have to draw your graph. It would be enough, girls, to just use two values of x. Okay, make sure that the values of x are the same for both of them, but it doesn't really make a difference. As long as you have two coordinates, as I did here, I realized that, my graph under here, I don't have it up to 10. Obviously, this has been thought of before, so we knew where the point of intersection was going to be, all right, girls? So I just ignored it. I said, you know what? I don't need it. I already have two coordinates. I can already draw my straight line. All right, I find where the point of intersection is, which is here. I read the coordinate and I take my x and y values. And this is another method if it asks me to calculate. And in a way, if you want to check yourselves, you can also do this by making the two equations equal to each other. And they are equal because they are referring to the same letter. It's as if I'm saying Sarah Galia or Galia Sarah, they're the same thing. 2x plus 1 is equal to y, and if y is also equal to 4x plus 2, therefore these two must be the same. All right, guys? And that is the end of today's lesson, and you've got your homework here. It's on the practice book. I sent you an image of the practice book if you don't have it, and you've got your answers also attached to the announcement. And that's the end of today's lesson. I will talk to you tomorrow, guys.